And we are live. Hello and welcome. You're listening to a special live edition of the ToyBoyz podcast. My name is Chad. I'm joined today by Avery, Eric, Chris, and Jared. ToyBoyz, assemble. We all know why we're here today. Special live episode, our very first live episode ever. As we were just discussing, it took us a couple minutes to get ourselves set up and kind of a new experience for us. So we appreciate everybody listening today. Um, so here it is. So we as a group had a couple weeks ago were able to sit down with Brian Volk-Wise, the founder and CEO of Nacelle Company and Nacelle Toys, and discuss the new Star Trek line that was coming out. He gave us a couple of hints about scale, and he even kind of showed us a little preview of a figure. And we got to see that yesterday at New York Comic Con. So first reacts, let's just kind of go around the room and see what we're all thinking about it. So I'll start with Chris. What do you think about these new figures they just dropped?
Um, it's kind of hard to hear you right now. The volume kind of went out a little, but I think what you just asked, what are my initial thoughts?
What's about it?
That's what he said, yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. I thought the whole line consisted of a bunch of deep cuts, and I thought that was pretty cool and pretty bold. Um, there wasn't too many figures that I was really like overly hyped for, but because I'm a Star Trek fan and you know, um a fan of what Nacelle's doing, I'm still gonna go all in and support the line.
Yeah, definitely 100% agree. Can you guys hear me now? Any better now?
No, your volume
So,
level definitely dropped off for some
yeah,
reason.
it's still low.
As soon as I hit go live, all of a sudden it was like, no, we don't want to hear this guy. I'm gonna hold the mic right here, and we're just gonna get real sexy all of a sudden. This feels like jazz right now. This is what a jazz singer would do. They'd have the mic right here up to their mouth. So this is gonna be a little weird, but you know what? It is what it is, guys. So that's kind of Chris's initial first reaction. Eric, what about you, man? What'd you think when you saw these deep cuts drop yesterday?
Super excited. Never thought he would go that deep on the first wave. Um, I'm already like, get these Diamond Select figures out of here, make room for these figures to come in. Yeah, I mean, maybe the rest of you guys aren't as excited because you collect the X06, and so you've gotten some deep cuts, with some of those. But for me, this is the scale I collect the most, so super excited. It's like they're going into like Playmates level of deep cuts,
Yeah.
obscure figures that were in one episode, that kind of thing. Never thought I would see it. So Brian was true to his word. I thought we were going to get Picard, Data, Spock, for the first wave, and it's not. I mean, there is still a Picard in there, which is kind of funny. 'Cause I think he said he has 30 Picard figures already, and we don't need
Yeah.
another one.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got to have at least one heavy hitter in there, I guess, to kick the line off. But yeah, as soon as they're up for pre-order, I'm all in.
100%, man. What about you, Avery? I know Avery, for those of you who don't know, Avery's in Germany right now. He's 6 hours ahead of us, so he might have got the news a little differently than we did. But Avery, how'd you feel when you first saw those figures drop?
First thing I saw I was like, is that a Peter Preston figure? I was like, what is that?
Yep, yep, yep,
And then I
yep.
clicked, I'm like, oh, this is from what he was talking about. I was like, he really went deep. I don't think there's ever been a Peter Preston figure, Scotty's nephew from Star Trek 2, even though they never, depending on which version you watch, they never officially mentioned that.
Yeah.
And then I was also the Captain Garrett figure from yesterday's Enterprise. I don't know if Playmates ever did one of her. I don't remember if they
Nope.
did.
Nope.
So I was like,
Uh,
he really hit a home run with a couple of figures that I don't think have ever been made before. But then a little thought, I saw how detailed they were, and I'm like, is this competition for EXL6 a little bit? But maybe not, because Chris was alluding to, it's a different scale, I believe, than the ESO. Well, it is. I remember watching the episode y'all recorded with him that I couldn't attend, but it's not the same scale. But for the level of details, I was like, wow, that's pretty detailed stuff. So I was cool with it. I saw what all the other figures look like, but the two that I can't remember, but the two that stuck out was Captain Garrett and Peter Preston.
Yeah. Well, we're actually, after we do this little kind of going around the room, we'll finish up with Jared, and then I'll go ahead and share my screen, and we'll show what some of those figures look like. we can go into a little bit more detail on those. So this afternoon, whatever, we're blessed with a Jared variant today. We've got extra bearded Jared. So Lumberjack Jared, how did you feel when you saw these figures premiered yesterday? I was kind of going crazy, messaging you guys in the chat and trying to get them out as soon as possible. So what do you think, man?
Yeah, I am quite excited. Wayum, yeah, um, awesome. And then Jellico, I did not anticipate that whatsoever. I think Nacelle's doing it right there, and it will appeal to a lot of Trekkies. So
Yeah, certainly. So go into the comments real quick. I see My Figure Universe in here. Just a quick shout out to My Figure Universe. Please make sure you give them a follow on social media, especially Instagram. They've been huge supporters of us through this entire process. Since we had our interview with Brian and we kind of broke some of this news with him in our interview and we had that conversation, they've been really sharing a lot of our stuff in their stories and our posts, and we just really appreciate the support. We're glad that they're here today, and they made a really great point in the comments here that Exo 6 is out of the price range of a lot of folks. As you know, because of the scale, because of the detail, they're really nice figures, but they really typically are in the $200 plus price range when it's all said and done. But these, 12, these 7-inch, 6-inch, 7-inch, maybe even 8-inch figures for some of these figures fall into a much better price range for most folks. And I think I don't know if it was confirmed yet, but I'm thinking it's like in that $25 to $30 price range. Chris, do you remember if Brian mentioned anything about that in the
They said like in the 29.99 range. So
okay, perfect. Okay, so $30. I think that's kind of right where you would expect it for that scale, for the level of detail we're getting, for the quality that we're getting. I think you'd expect like, $30 a figure. I think that's pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty normal industry standard right now. As I recall, he mentioned he kind of wanted to keep what was the industry? Black Series is what he said. So kind of keeping it.
Yeah, he said that.
Same, in that same terms of quality and price.
Series or G.I. Joe Classified, like
G.I. Joe Classified. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the other one he mentioned. Yep.
But
Yeah,
then,
man.
but then I also heard him say like 7-inch, but 1/12 scale. So that's why it's kind of like,
Yeah,
But
I think he's kind of like, I don't really care the 1/12 and the exact. He's like, if it's a shorter kind of a character, there'll be more of 6-inch. If it's a taller kind of a character, they might get up to 8-inch. So I would think if we ever get a Ruck figure from TOS, I'm sure that's more of an 8-inch figure, or Mr. Home, right? From from the Next Generation. That's Luoxana Troy's ballet. I'm sure we're gonna see 8-inch figures there. You know what I mean? So I kind of like that idea, is that they're gonna scale to each other really well. Well, maybe not necessarily caring so much about it's exactly 1/12 to the,
yeah, I think every company uses their own scale of measurement. Like the Mezco 1/12 is like a little bit shorter than like the Marvel Legends, and like
certainly.
even like the Diamond Select were like 7-inch, and so was the Super 7 ones, but the Super 7 ones were a little bit shorter than the
Yes. Yeah.
Diamond Select. So
Yeah. So I like that Brian's not too caught up on the exactly what 1/12 means. So I'm gonna go to the comments real quick because I saw a couple pop up and we can kind of talk about those. And then I want to show some of the figures. My Figure Universe says I'm gonna need 8 Wayuns. So that's probably if you want to if you want to have the right amount of Wayuns, that's 100%. We got Ernie in here, our man Ernie, that Shamook is in here, and he said he wants to get it done, said Jellico, and they got it done. So I think he's excited about this and glad to see that these are going to be popping up. And so I want to show some of the photos that we actually have. So I'm going to share my screen real quick. Let me close some of these porn tabs. Just kidding, Mom, if you're listening. You guys should be seeing something pop up right now. It's just a kind of a window. So this is the overview photo that we saw. Is this popping up?
we see the menu.
we just the File Explorer screen.
Yeah, see your folder.
Hold on a second. That's not good enough. I feel like I'm in a meeting right now at work and I'm having technical difficulties.
At least you're not talking on mute.
They better make Iggy Pop too when he was in that one episode.
Oh, what the Vorta he played.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We've been waiting for hours. It's one of my favorite lines. The way he pronounces it, I don't know why it makes me laugh. All right, here we go. This should be popping up now. You guys see this?
Yeah,
There you
Yep.
go.
it's good.
So let's just go because these look like they're the just kind of the concept art, and then we have figures of the actual photos that were on excuse me, let's try that again. Photos of the actual figures that were on display. So the top left-hand side, figure 001 is Captain Jellicoe. So get it done. So how are you guys feeling about this Jellicoe figure? I was not actually this is out of all these figures, this is the one I was personally expecting the most. There was a lot of conjecture. I think my figure universe, even they posted out there that they were hoping for a Jellicoe figure, and I noticed that when I said a Jellicoe figure would be cool in social media, Brian liked my comment. So I feel like that was kind of a tip of the, hey, he's probably coming. So really cool to see Jellicoe. How are you guys feeling about the figure?
Lost you on the volume, but I think the Jellicoe figure looks awesome. I'm pretty excited for that one. The probably and weigh on the most.
Yeah, I agree. Captain Jellicoe is amongst that and Wayum, like I mentioned earlier. It's just such a, at least in my opinion, a classic episode of TNG. It's nice to have that figure available
Yeah.
finally.
Yeah, certainly. Chain of Command, obviously, being that episode, the two-parter, where Jellicoe takes over command of the Enterprise for a little bit. Just me getting uncomfortably close to the microphone to make sure you guys can hear me.
Troy finally gets her uniform as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
That made a lot of nerds mad. That made a lot a lot of nerds mad. So Avery, how are you feeling about the Jellicoe figure, man? What do you think?
Like I said, to piggyback with Chris, some deep cuts. I never expected a Jellicoe figure ever. I mean, maybe back in the Playmate days, but I don't think they did that. So I think that's cool that they did that. And that actor's still living, so I hope he gets to see the toy, to see how he reacts seeing it if he comes to a con, hopefully.
I was very much hoping the same thing that you just said, that he would maybe be at a con or a show somewhere, and that somebody would pop up and be like, "Hey, can you sign my Captain Jellicoe figure?" And he could sign like, "Get it done," or whatever on there. Really cool. Some of the details here. I've just pulled up this other image that they showed at New York City Comic Con, and a huge shout out to Marina Kravchuk, who was nice enough to take these photos, post them on social media so that we were able to use them today. So just some kind of basic details on here. His rank as captain. He was the commanding officer, possibly of the Cairo, maybe question mark. His areas of expertise were the Cardassians. We first see him, obviously, like we just said, in Chain of Command Part 1 and 2. Last seen, possibly dead, question mark. I guess we don't really know. Special feature is finger paintings. If you'll remember, there's a scene in there where he's dealing with his kids' finger paintings, and they're not very good, or at least he doesn't like them. His kid has like an elephant or something like that, or it's supposed to be a horse. So I appreciate some of these little facts that they're dropping in here, some cute little details, but here's a look at the actual figure.
So another thing about Jellicoe, the last time I saw something with him, they did a Captain's comic book, probably around about 2012, 2011.
Oh yeah.
And one of the issues focused on him. So
that's pretty cool. I don't think I knew that. I don't think I heard that.
It's kind of interesting. He's got a fist sculpt there in his right hand. I wonder, are we going to get multiple hands?
Multiple hands.
These
Yeah.
figures.
Looks like his ankles can move too. Possibly, I'm not sure.
Yeah, but I guess did they mention how much articulation in these figures? Chris, do you remember?
I think I want to say 25.
I want to say 25 too. That's what I remember is 25.
Yeah, it looks like Black Series or G.I. Joe Classified level for sure.
They said he's gonna come with like a fish tank too or something.
Really, get that fish out of here. This guy was a fish hater. Um, yeah, man.
Well,
What's up? Go ahead.
he said that some of the figures are gonna come with accessories that don't necessarily exactly go to them, but kind of, do. And also like they want to add as many accessories as they can, like as possible.
That's really
So
cool. For a lot
yeah,
of collectors, that's where it's at, is the accessories. They really like, the accessories really kind of make it.
maybe
The
we're gonna
only
get
thing,
maybe we'll get the Risa Picard with the statue.
the Horgon statue, Tiki Jamaharo. I think the Jellicoe, I think the left hand, I think that's in a pretty good phaser holding position, maybe. Um, so hopefully we'll see some great accessories with that. I think the likeness is great. I like the articulation. Really excited about this one. So, up next on that list looks like it's here he goes, Peter Preston, midshipman Peter Preston. So, Scotty's nephew, also known as midshipman, first class. He's in Starfleet, Engineer's Mate, Wrath of Khan, special feature, Battle Damaged Head. Um,
Sweet.
wow, that's pretty messed up. As I recall, his final line in that movie was, "Is the order given, Admiral?" And very sweet scene. But how do you guys feel about the figure?
It's great.
Yeah.
I mean, my favorite movie of the series, for sure. So I'll take any and all characters from it.
Certainly, wildly popular movie. Out of those original series movies was The Wrath of Khan.
I think it's cool that it's gonna come with a battle damage head. It's supposed to come with a chest piece too. I think that's like battle damage or something.
Is it actually coming with a battle damage head? I thought that was just like a joke.
No, I think. Well, I think it is because I heard him say it in the panel, but also maybe it was a joke now that I think about it. But I mean, it would be
Oh,
cool because then they could do like the from that episode conspiracy, and they can have the dude with the head that blows up or something.
oh, McDuff.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh no,
Like
conspiracy is the lieutenant commander guy, the jerk.
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot his name. No, McDuff is from
I thought it
yeah.
was with an M though.
We need to get
Whatever.
research on that. Let's get research on that. Um, so up next I've got Peter Press. So we got Peter Prescott here. This is the actual figure. Notice he also has a fist in one hand too, so maybe we're seeing multiple hands here, possibly gloved and ungloved, lots of articulation like we were just mentioning. I really like the face sculpt. I think it's pretty close. Pretty close approximation of the face sculpt, especially when you look at this as a just being like a 7-inch figure. It looks really good, I think. Um, jump next to we got where'd she go, Valkyris? Where are you, my friend?
Right to the left of the which one?
Boop. There she goes. Valkyris, who did anybody see this coming? I mean, truthfully and honestly.
Not at all.
I would never have expected that. Nah.
Nah, it took me. I was like, is that the woman at the beginning of Search for Spock who just she has like a 2-minute scene and she gets blown up by Chris Lloyd? Um, I think it's a good looking figure. It was very unexpected. Special feature says saying goodbye because she gets killed off pretty easy. Um, but yeah, I don't know. How do you guys feeling about this one? There's no actual preview of this figure yet. This is just kind of some of the concept art that they put up. But how are you guys feeling about Valkyris here?
It's
I think
crazy
it's
to me. I was just gonna say, the major toy companies, they always seem to release figures that can easily be repainted into other figures, but this looks like a complete one-off. It's not like there's no other characters who have this costume, right?
True.
So
Yeah.
it's really incredible the money they're spending on a mold, and a design that really can't be reused, and it's going to be like a total one-off. I mean, that's what's impressive to me.
yeah.
100% agree. Yeah.
I think it's the most interesting looking character in the whole bunch of these, at least.
I think it's the most probably detailed and unique. I would agree with that. And I do kind of agree with, I didn't really think about it till Eric mentioned it, but it is a very unique, body sculpt and head sculpt, right? That, it would be hard to emulate this for any other figure. So this is something that they definitely put their time in, their research in, a lot of effort and money into. So really nice to see Valkyries here. Definitely a huge, huge, huge deep cut.
It's almost like Brian was just like, what don't I have in my collection? What do I need?
Yeah.
What do I want? And then he shows those. I mean, we're
Yeah.
filling in a lot of gaps here.
Agreed, 100%. So up next on the list, it looks like we got Rachel Garrett actually. So where is she? Where you at, Reach? There she goes. Special feature is poorly placed debris. If you remember her death scene in
Demise.
yesterday's Enterprise was pretty rough. She takes a chunk of rock in her head. I don't know why starship walls are all made with chunks of rock in them, but for some reason they are. And she takes a chunk to the head.
It was
Very
paneling,
cool.
not rock.
What is it?
Paneling, not rock.
Oh, is that what
It did
it
look
was?
like a piece of rock, though. I don't know. Something
Yeah,
about the
yeah,
makeup job.
yeah. So, great character, great episode. Love the character. How you guys feeling about this one?
I'm actually cool. I mean, I'm super cool with it because it's something totally out the blue that you wouldn't expect.
I
And it's
agree.
like we said, deep cut to a fan favorite episode. I don't know when I was younger when that episode came, I was super psyched about it because you got to see what the Enterprise C looked like because you always saw the previous Enterprises on the wall in the ready room, but you actually got to see what it looked like. So
You got to see
stoked.
what it looked like.
Yeah, see what the C looked like.
Agreed. No, I think it's great. What were you guys gonna say? Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I hope we also get her companion, Shooter McGavin.
Oh, I
Oh,
didn't
that'd
even
be
think about
great.
that. Oh man, that's a really good. I hope we do see that. Legitimately, that would be fantastic. Castile, right, was his name? The guy who was kind of
Yeah.
vibing with Lieutenant Yar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, man. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I have a feeling we're gonna see like a Kelsey Grammer one too at some point.
From the end of Cause and Effect,
Yeah,
Captain Bateson, I think was his name. That'd be
seems like
pretty
a
amazing.
deep
Yeah,
cut.
with the beard, how Jared is looking right now, with like that whole full beard coming
Yeah,
out. Yeah, Jared, just don't shave and just cosplay as Captain Bateson at STLB next year.
There we go.
Just paint your beard orange, you'll be good.
All right, up next is something that I might have speculated about, but I guess I never thought it was really ever gonna happen in life. Is your man Tuvix? Um, just what do you guys think? This was such a controversial episode of Voyager Tuvix. One of the most controversial for sure. It's still talked about today, still debated over today. Uh, I don't know. I think it's interesting. I really like it. What do you guys feel? How
I
do you
think
guys feel
it's
about it?
I think it's one of the best looking like renders out of all of them. Looks really good. Um, you
Yeah.
totally tell it's Tuvix. Yeah, I think it looks good. I
They
like all
didn't
the
make
details on the shirt and everything.
Agreed. Yeah, the uniform is kind of I like the head sculpt, but the uniform is kind of selling it for me. Just all those intricate little kind of swirls that we saw that were a combination of Neelix's uniform and Tuvix's uniform as well. What about the rest of you guys?
Definitely get it. Yeah. I like it a lot.
they didn't make one with Playmates. Why did I think they waited 2 weeks figure?
No,
Maybe they
Because
no,
just
probably because there's been a lot of customs that people do.
a lot of customs, but no, Playmates never made a Tuvix figure. No.
okay.
Yeah, it looks great. So there's a theme that I noticed out of the 8 figures that we're going to talk about today, the 8 figures that they announced. Um, 6 out of 8 of them died pretty horrifically on screen, right? They all died in some way. Tuvix obviously was separated and turned back into Tuvok and Neelix by Janeway is probably the
Spoiler.
nicest way to put it. Yeah, spoiler alert from the episode Tuvix from 30 years ago. Obviously Preston, Valkyris, literally 6 out of 8 of these figures. So I wonder if that was intentional or I don't know. I just thought that was kind of a funny little coincidence.
The he's dead Jim line.
That's actually good. That's a good wave. They he's dead. He's dead. Jim wave. That's actually pretty funny.
Ryan was saying that that's like one of his favorite episodes. Like, is probably his second favorite episode in all of Trek.
Brian Volkwine.
Yeah.
Oh, did he say that?
Yeah.
Oh, I must have missed that. That's really funny. That's it.
Which episode was that, Chris?
The Tuvix episode.
Okay.
So I'm going to show this first because I think Aaron brought this to my attention first yesterday. So we finally get to be this guy. We finally get to be Boimler here with his Mirror Archer action figure from Lower Decks because, believe it or not, we get a Mirror Archer figure. Look at this face. Look at this Scott Bakula face. He's ready to kill somebody.
And he dies too.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. He's poisoned, right? I think by Hoshi at the end. Spoiler alert. Yeah. That's why it's a special feature, champagne glass with poison. So yeah, man. So this guy sees a great.
Sounds like someone we know.
I was just gonna say,
wow. Wow. Anna's not in the comments, is she? She's not watching right now,
Shots
is she?
fired.
You guys watch out for me. She has showed up to Orlando before and left poison on my front doorstep. So that's a real thing that has happened in the past. So I think it's a great idea. I think it's a cool looking idea. Just jump back to I guess maybe that is the only image, is that the same one? Yeah. So looking forward to seeing what that is going to look like. Up next we got, of course, who could ever not make a figure? And unfortunately, Playmates never did. Playmates never made a Weyoun figure. They had 8 Weyouns or 9 Weyouns or whatever to work with. His special feature is, does that say sliminess? Is that what that says?
Yeah, looks like it.
Yeah. So I don't know which Weyoun this is supposed to be, but a lot of them died on screen, and all the Weyouns are dead. The last Weyoun died. So this is another dead character right here. How you got? Hey Jared, was that you that said that Weyoun was a for sure figure?
Well, I wouldn't say for sure, but I was quite pleased when I saw that Weyoun was coming out.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's gonna be cool. You know what? I would really like to see a Jim Hadar, just generic soldier figure as well, and then maybe kind of army build those a little bit too. Like Weyoun with 6 different Jim Hadar along with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or they could have different heads. Same thing with the weigh-in. He can have 3 or 4 different heads. One of them could be the Iggy Pop head too.
The Iggy Pop Weyoun variant. I waited for hours. And then finally, last but not least, this one, super excited about. Did not see this one coming. Is this Captain Sulu figure when he's captain of the Excelsior. He's got his little, says he comes with his Excelsior Fine China, which will be really cool to see. The little, if he does kind of come with his little cup. Do you guys know, did Diamond Select ever make a Captain Sulu?
No. They made the Wrath of Khan one, but it wasn't Captain.
Oh, I got you.
Where he's in that, where he's wearing the, yeah.
I got you. I know that Playmates sure never did. But now we never got a Sulu figure in this Monster Maroon uniform ever from Playmates. So just really cool to see. I love it. I'm super excited about this. I'm gonna get the whole wave. So I mean, it's kind of
I'm gonna get all of them too.
Yeah, 100%. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen so maybe we could talk about a couple more things that I've seen that have popped up about this line. Maybe first I'm gonna try and jump into back into the comments just to see what folks have been saying, so we can just talk to our friends in here. I see Desi is in here. We're just going back to we'd love to see Castillo. We got lean in here. The Fraser figure. The Fraser figure. Yeah. So Captain Bateson for sure. That would be fantastic. Um, My Figure Universe says Janeway straight up murdered Tulix. I was trying not to start a debate in the comments. But I mean, if you guys want to fight it out, fight it out. I'm all here for it. And My Figure Universe also says fly her apart then. Agree, that's a great Sulu quote from Star Trek 6. And our friend
Picard.
Anna likes to wield poison, says Aaron. So yes, that's 100% true. Um, so let me ask you guys this question. So this has been something that's on my mind a little bit since they made this announcement. And it is a lot of because this is not a concern for me. Not really at least. But a lot of folks have expressed a concern that since there are no main characters in this line, there's no Kirks or Picards or Datas, that the line might not succeed. We kind of have a more unique perspective, I think, on that because we had a conversation with Brian. We know how passionate he is about this. We know he has a plan for this. How do you guys feel about the line? Do you think that it is any danger of failing because there are no main characters in the first wave?
The way I feel about it, yeah, I was thinking back to the Super 7 figures that just came out not that long ago and how they canceled that line. But that was $55 for each figure, which for some people might just be outside of, what they want to spend. If you're talking more 25, 30, it might be an easier decision to go all in because like the rest of you guys, I'm a huge Star Trek fan, obviously, and yet those figures I was like, $55 each, they're not that
Agreed.
much better than a classified or black series. That seems kind of steep. So, and then when I saw that like the Guinan figure was canceled, I was like, all right, I'm out. Like I don't need another, Picard, Worf, all the same characters I already have. So I'm hoping this price point will, get more fans interested and they'll like, the three of us are saying we're going to pre-order the whole thing right out of the gate. I hope there's a lot of people like that who are just all in because they can afford it. So and as far as not having main characters, like I said, I mean, we're kind of tired of seeing those. Like McFarlane released a Picard and a Kirk, and then that line died. I don't know. This is just going to generate a lot more excitement and interest, I think, to go this way. So I'm hoping it's going to catch on.
I agree. I just want to throw out there real quick in the comments that My Figure Universe says, I believe the line will succeed if we buy, support, and spread the word. So I think I agree. The onus is a little bit on us because Nacelle's not a really big company. So and we'll definitely be using our voices and our social media to help spread the word ourselves because we want this line to succeed. But anyway, so I'm sorry. Who go ahead and continue. I just wanted to make sure that we got that comment in there.
I just wanted to say I think the line will succeed simply due to its uniqueness of it. I mean,
Yeah, I agree. Like these are figures that we've never seen before. Um, I think that a lot of love and care and attention has been put into these, and I think some fans will. Obviously, there's always going to be haters out there, people who are just not going to like it for whatever reason. Um, Especially if Wave 2 kind of comes through with some more of some more of those basic characters, some more Picard, Data, Riker, Worf, Cisco, Janeway, something like that.
Hinted that Shelby's going to be in the next series.
You think or you hope?
That's what they kind of hinted at in the panel.
Yo, that
Brian,
would be God, that would
Brian
be
Pitt pretty much says that if they do another and like the rest of the series coming after this one, they're gonna try and do like if it does well, they're gonna try and do 10 figures in each series.
that
And
would be amazing.
his goal is to right now is he wants to put out at least 100 figures. That's he says for him to feel like the line is gonna be successful, he wants to have at least 100 figures out there.
I could see that. And I want to say Playmates was just over 200. The whole line was just over. Not to compare them kind of apples to apples, but Playmates was considered by and large to be a successful line until they wrecked themselves by making more than 200 Star Trek figures that by and large did really well. So I think 100 at this price point in 2024, I think that would be a huge success.
I just hope eventually at some point they're able to get the license to do like Lower Decks and
Agreed.
Strange New Worlds and Discovery because there's so many characters from there that have never had any, figures put out before. So it'd be,
Certainly. Yeah.
especially on that scale. So
And that scale, certainly. I was thinking when we were talking to Brian, I didn't ask this because I didn't want to kind of push anything, but I was wondering if he thought maybe once these couple of waves went out and if they did well enough that if Paramount would buy into increasing their license to include the newer series from Discovery on up to what we have. Because I mean, there's still shows coming out that we haven't even seen yet, like Section 31 that was previewed at Comic-Con. Starfleet Academy, which has already been renewed for season 2. So there's a lot still to come.
yeah,
So yeah,
Prodigy too. There was like a couple figures um that they didn't get to do, and
yes,
then also like with the second season, they had so many awesome cameos like in that style of animation. It would be really
yeah,
cool to do figures of those as well.
agree. Yeah, I think they made was it 4? Playmates made 4, maybe 5 Prodigy figures. So I mean, I have them, and they're just kind of like lonely, just chilling, hanging out, wishing that the line was finished. So
I
I
was
think
gonna
maybe
say,
go
real
ahead.
quick,
Yeah,
that I think, from Brian's perspective, it seems like most of his company is built on nostalgia, right? And the market he's targeting, are people like our age who, we're thinking about things we watched 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and all the like the animated series that you guys grew up with, the Biker Mice and Street Sharks, things like that, that era. He's targeting a lot of that. So who knows if maybe he wanted to focus more on the older Trek series because that is where the nostalgia kind of feelings
true.
are. And then these deep cuts also, like we're all saying, oh God, I thought never in my lifetime would I see this figure, and that gets you super excited for it. So maybe that's the strategy is like focus more on that stuff in the beginning. After a few more
Yeah.
years go by, then maybe nostalgia starts to kick in on Discovery or, those other shows.
Yeah,
And he even said if you want to see if there's other characters that you want to see, like to reach out to them, let them know which ones because he's gonna read all the emails and everything and all the suggestions. So
yeah.
I
So
mean, I think
please
I
do.
think also
Yeah,
also with the first series, they didn't even want to tell people about it yet. So they figured, why don't we put the all the deep cut figures that we've always wanted in this series because they might, when people start asking for figures, they might not even ask for some of these characters. So
Well, I wanted to
yep.
say too that I think that the line will be successful because I feel like it's going to be collectors getting it. So if the collectors are coming after it, I don't think it'll have any issues. And then of course you got the scalpers trying to do their thing too. So
Yeah,
I think with him picking unique deep cut characters, I think that's a home run win because it's going to appeal more to the collector, the toy collector crowd, not maybe a passerby, just generic toy buyer, but a toy collector crowd. And my only question too would be like, what stores would these be sold in?
so that was actually so Avery, you read my mind, man. That was actually my first thing I was going to ask. Well, the next thing I was going to ask was, I'm kind of hoping that we see these on their website, like for a pre-order or something like that, where we can pick them up. But also, Nacelle has a deal now, like an exclusivity deal with Walmart to sell their figures in Walmart. So there are Walmarts now that are getting Nacelle toys like end caps and displays. So there's some of their RoboForce figures, their Biker Mice figures, and there's a couple of other in there that I'm not thinking of right now. So it would be amazing, I think, if we saw these figures popping up like on Walmart shelves. You know what I mean? In those collector
I
spot
think they
sections.
said like Walmart, Big Bad Toy Store, FYE. They put up a
Oh,
few
of
different
retailers, that's great.
retailers, yeah,
Fantastic.
on the
That's
panel.
great news.
I don't know how I feel about Walmart.
Yeah, Walmart could be tough sometimes with those exclusive things. I agree
Yeah.
100%. But if it's Big Bad Toy Store, you know that you might wait for those, but they're going to hit every time. Or if they sell them straight from the Nacelle company website, you know you're going to be able to get it. So that's what I'm kind of hoping is I
A
get it
lot a
straight
lot of
from Nacelle.
a lot of people, because money's so tight, they wait till a lot of the stuff goes on clearance to start collecting it. I see that happen with a lot of the Marvel Legends and stuff like that. People like
They wait till they hit Ollie's and
yeah,
Ross's. With that.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Like characters they didn't care about, and then all of a sudden, because it's like a certain price or a discount price, then everyone's like running to all the ollies trying to grab them.
Yeah.
So
That's kind of where I've gone with like the Star Wars figures because they release so many of them and there's so many repaints and just they're not really putting a lot of effort into the best characters. And
so you admit to doing this?
oh, not Ollie's. I've never gone to Ollie's.
You've been caught.
I will wait till like
Yeah.
Amazon, cuts the figure by 50% and
Yeah.
but it was like I was never gonna buy it anyway at full price.
Yeah.
So
Wanna make sure that-
are you a collector? Or are you a collector of discounts? What is it?
I love getting a good deal, but I'm not doing that on these. These will be a day one pre-order because I mean you're not supporting the line if you wait for a sale because they're not
Correct.
gonna make any money and the
Certainly.
whole thing's gonna
Yeah.
fold. So
Yeah.
we gotta
Totally.
I probably get the whole line too. I forgot to mention that. I probably get the whole line too. So
And
I want y'all bring up Walmart is I know y'all been to I ain't been to Walmart much lately, but when you go, it's like a bomb done gone off in there, in the toy
Yeah.
section, unless you go to certain Walmarts. And then two, I just remember when Star Wars came out, there were scalpers there. I went with a friend because we were doing a toy episode for my radio show I had. And I was like, man, we need to get there before midnight. He's like, no, no one's going to Walmart because Toys R Us is still open. We get there. I never saw the end cap come out. Before the end cap could even get to the floor, dude was doing football stiff arms, knocking everything in his, getting everything in his cart and picking stuff through. And then he saw me walk up. He's like, I'm not a scalper. I'm not a scalper. And I'm like, you just told on yourself, buddy. So
toy collectors are crazy, man. We are crazy. We're a crazy breed. So we are actually getting to the point we got to wrap up here pretty soon because we got to get out of here before 2. I just want to go around the room real quick and ask, what are you hoping to see in the future from Nacelle Toys? Wave 2, Wave 3, just down the line. So what figures are you hoping to see? Feel free to drop yours in the comments too. I know we got David and My Figure Universe out there. I know Desi and Lean and some others are out there. So make sure, go ahead and drop those in there too. And I'll go ahead and read them here. But Chris, why don't you go ahead and start? Tell us, what are you hoping to see in this line?
I want every series to have a Jeffrey Combs character. But I definitely want to see Shran. Definitely want to see Shran.
That'd be fantastic. Yeah.
Definitely want to see Nog in the Starfleet uniform.
Sure.
I don't know. I think for the next episode we should all make a nice list, that well thought out list of our wish list of figures that we want to see. Yeah, but those are just 2 that I can think of off the top of my head.
Sure. What about you, Avery? Anything on your wish list to come from Nacelle Toys for the Star Trek line?
since they've gone a deep cut route, I'm gonna say Leggett Damar. Give me one of those.
Yeah.
Have they ever done a gold Ducat toy?
Playmates did. Playmates had a Gold Ducat. It was actually printed wrong on the card. They accidentally called him, I think, Captain Gold Ducat. They thought Gold was his first name. But yeah, Playmates made a Gold Ducat back in 92 or 93 or whatever.
Or maybe we could do gold Ducat as a Bajoran when he was in that death coat.
Oh, when he slept with Kai Wynn.
Yeah, that'd be something.
Yeah. Post-coitus Ducat. Yeah, actually, yeah, that's a good
that'd be a good 2-pack, Kai Wynn and
Yeah.
Oh, what about Ronin, dude? They need to make Ronin with like the green candle.
Ronin with the 2-pack with Crusher with her robe. Yeah. What about you, Eric? What do you think would be cool to see in this lineup coming soon?
I've got the deepest cut possible for you, and that would be Q's Mariachi Band from Deja Q.
Yeah.
End of the episode. Or
I don't need your fantasy women Q.
right. Or more seriously, like Vosh would be cool.
Vosh, yeah.
Since you mentioned the Rise of Picard figure, I mean that would be a cool like 2 figure
Sexy Picard, yeah.
Something like that.
Or
any of the Robin Hood variants, Picard is Robin Hood or Data is Friar.
What about Mark Twain?
Actually, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Mark Twain would be, and Guinan too, and that getup that she wore, and that like Yeah, that would actually be pretty great. Going to the comments real quick. I see we got a Damar in here, Esri Dax from Bada Bing Bada Bang. Somebody mentioned Vic, which I think would be great. A Vic Fontaine figure would be really cool. Some folks are really liking your Mariachi Q idea, and some great ideas coming through. Some folks really want to see Nog. They think Nog is a must, and I agree with that. Huge fan of Nog. I think I'd prefer to see him in the Starfleet uniform when he's actually an officer as opposed to like a cadet or whatever. But I would either honestly take either personally.
The Playmates Nog is like pitiful.
Trash. It is. It's like a little tiny figure that comes with
It's like
ROM.
it's like when the Ninja Turtles came with like an extra little figure.
An extra little, it has like no articulation. It's just like they
It's
did
horrible.
the same thing with Alexander, like
Yeah.
Sheriff Worf.
They didn't even make a regular figure. It was just like the fistful of datas.
Yeah, and he's like this ugly, this little,
Ooh.
It's like they cared about Alexander about as much as Worf cared about Alexander. Like when they made the figure, like that's how rough it was.
Some of the Ferengis like Brunt. That'd be cool.
Brunt would be yeah. Talking about Jeff Combs figures for sure. Brunt would have to be on that list too. Brunt FCA. So Jared, real quick, what are you hoping for from this line? I'm sure you've got Locutus on your brain, maybe. I know you have that Exo 6 Locutus already on the mantle, but I know you're a big fan of Best of Both Worlds. What are you hoping to see?
Yeah, well, actually, the only thing that comes to mind for me is more DS9 centric. I'd like to see Admiral Ross, Senator Vreenak, Sloan. Yeah.
Man, those are all really good figures. I would have never thought about Sloan. Sloan is a fantastic character. It'd be
He
really
is,
cool
yeah.
to kind of pair him up with Bashir or something like that. That's a really good idea. Cool. All right. Well, I think that about wraps it up. I know we got to get out of here, but thank you everybody who joined. Thank you, ToyBoyz, for assembling with us all today. Glad you could make it, especially Avery so far in the future right now. But I think that just about does it. Thanks everybody for joining, and wraps it up for our special live edition of the ToyBoyz podcast. On behalf of Avery, Chris, Jared, Eric, and myself, thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Check out our merch. ToyBoyz, disassemble. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.